of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good evening and welcome to an I.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. I'm your host, Minister A.H.A.D. And with me today we have Lord Holy Apostle Dean Salim, here with us as well, but off camera is Holy Queen Mother Rabia, and our brother and partner in faith who's missing today, Brother Fat Kill Abdul Aziz. And to the audience that's out here listening today, may Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be with and about everybody's presence. Always a pleasure to have those tuning into our program. May Ahezaah's peace and other blessings about your presence as well. Well, we're in the third day. Before we get started, we're in the third day of our 14 days of holy abstinence, sit down, given to us from the Lord Most High. It's part of our new way of life we call religion, under the banner of the universal religion of the truth. And we can never thank Ahezaah enough for this day of fasting. And Ahezaah, in his wisdom, have put this particular time period for us within the greater time period of the one of the false religions that's going on today, this Christmas, as well as going extending to the new year, as many people celebrate from the 25th of December all the way to January 1st. So Allah, have, out of His mercy for us, as seeking to be, as I have believers, have given us this 14 days of holy abstinence in commemoration of this man being raised to the level of a messenger and prophethood, given a book attached to Angel Jibril attached to him, and in this time we remember and glorify Lord Ahezaah in this giving of this sacrifice to the world of mankind, who many don't even realize or recognize or know about. With that being said, we're going to discuss something that may be very interesting to those who are out there watching this program. We're living in a very tumultuous time where people dealing in witchcraft, demonology, things of that nature that many people like to get into the spookism of this thing. But it's a real study that Allah have given Holy Apostle of His wisdom to speak about, to expound on. And in that, we want to discuss that because that world, as we deal in this world, people think that this world itself is the only living thing, but there's a world outside, beyond this world, that we all have to pass on to go to the next life that is real or more real than this world. And in that, with a realm of demons or things of that nature, where people hear about the poltergeist, that type of information that people allude to, they have shows on television now about it because they know the real reality of it. These shows on sci-fi, these ghost hunters and all these paranormal things, because they know this day, as Ahezaah have explained to us, all this information is being brought forth now, is being ushered in to either tell people away from the reality of truth, which is hell, or being people to become a greater service of the devil in this hour. So with that being said, Holy Apostle, Holy Queen, listening in, chime in anytime you feel like it.
Yeah, wow. He said a mouthful, and I you know, my son crawling all around the floor. I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? You know, trying to look at the monitor, and my mind was gone. But man, I just peace and blessings be with them about your presence. You know, there's the Jinn, fabulous people, who hate religion, and they disbelieve in the order of creation, you know, evolution, and they believe that, and they propagate that, you know, that creation is of itself,
right? You
know, like their science can prove things that religion can't prove,
right?
And that's where so many things about the religion, the demonology, not the religion, but demonology itself, is based in. Everything the Lord El has ever sent down in terms of wisdom, you know, guidance, divine guidance into its information about creation, evolution, the balance of life, and how it is the creator, and it is the maintainer, sustainer, destroyer, and everything that it is. People always, you know, of the devil, always find ways to take parts
Right.
and twist it
Mm-hmm.
to give you know, man a problem.
Right.
Like, first of all, let's look at this thing, man.
Right.
Okay, we call ourselves man,
Right.
but in truth, we're not man.
Right.
The Lord is man.
Mm-hmm.
Man means mind.
Right.
And in its mind, the whole creation is mental.
Right.
And from the mentality of the infinite mind, it manifests its desires to reflect itself in what we call creation, life.
Right.
So all of life, all of creation is its essence, and its thoughts put in the material forms of building blocks of creation. Okay. And it is the impossible thing that controls everything, that is everywhere at all times, ubiquitously, you know, and acting in every kind of way, multifariously.
Yeah.
You understand? So, because, now the devil know that. And most of the highest jinns know that.
Right.
People in the high seats of masonry and the religions and what have you, they all know that. But they will not propagate that to the common folk, because they want them to think that they are man when they are mankind.
Yeah.
Humankind. Now, let's look at this thing. Moses said to Allah,
Right.
"Oh, Hugh." Huh?
Yes, sir.
When it says Yahoo.
Right.
And guide. Huh?
That's right.
When it said Waha.
That's right.
Oh, essence. And guide. Huh?
Right.
Talking to the mind of creation that manifested itself in the light of that so-called burning bush.
Right.
Huh? That spoke to him. Now, humanity, let's look at that word. Hue was the essence of creation.
Right.
Hue was the matter in the substance that's the name of the substance of all creation that the Creator manifests. Hue, essence. And with hue comes the word hue of color.
Right. H-U-E.
Because the color is of that essence.
Right.
All right? Man, we say that is mind.
Right.
The infinite mind, not us.
Right.
The infinite mind. And iti.
Right.
Humanity. That's that hue of mind manifesting itself in small worlds.
Right.
For us, mankind.
Right.
Worlds of humankind. We are a kind because we are light by being in the form of the creator of the Lord, not the creator, but the Lord of the throne.
Right.
See, when they say that you can, those jinns say that we can prove in science everything about creation. But see, we of El, the mystics, we can prove, or it's been proven to us about the creation having order, being under control, being in its hands, being of its desire, of its will, of its way, whatever it desires. We have been given proofs of that. But see, the thing about the world is the opposite.
Right.
You have, everything had two sides, one negative, one positive, one extreme to the other. On this extreme side, they need things to prove.
Right.
And they're giving everything. The Lord is giving them proofs, and they're not acknowledging the Lord.
Yeah.
It's giving them proof. It's manifesting in their minds.
Right.
Huh? But on this side, it only manifests to those it favors. Few men have wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
And wisdom is divine guidance. So when the Lord said, I'm going to create man in the image of this Lord, in my image.
Right.
Because see, El is much more You can't even, El is the impossible being. You cannot fathom El. The supermost supreme angels, seraphim that make up the body of the Lord of the throne, that clothe the body of the Lord of the throne, cannot fathom El. But El manifests as, in this day, the Lord of the throne, Ahezaah. In the last day, as Allah. In days before that, Amen and Ra and Osiris and Zeus and Brahman and so forth and so on. And the truth that it sends down today was sent down in all those times, but people have always found ways to bend it, break it, twist it, and then give you these bits and pieces. You know, how many people understand the fact, because you have people always denying the devil.
Yeah.
How many people understand the fact that when the Lord El created man, and Satan, whose name was Set at that time, became angry, because he was a fiery, you know, immature, so to speak, angel, all right, a jealous angel. And he had legions under him. And he said that he did not appreciate man. He could not he could not raise man up. He thought Allah, El, in the name of Amen, was going to raise man up above them. Bring him near to them, to it. But that's only a few favored men that the Lord will bring near to it. Yes.
Let me just interject for a moment, because I know sometimes people may think that this language that you're speaking is far-fetched. But if they, it was funny because the other day I turned on Star Wars, and don't think the Jinn don't know the truth. The Jinn cover is up for us, and at different times they put it out there for your entertainment. Yeah. But Star Wars was basically mirrored behind the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Like when their greatest demon, one of their greatest demons was Darth Vader.
Right.
And what we explained before, Darth comes from the word dearth, meaning empty, void. And Vader comes from the word Veda, void, wisdom, saying he's void of wisdom. You know, and they know that. They play with people's minds.
Yeah, because they had Set as one of the characters in Star Wars and everything else.
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
Yeah. And the same thing with Stargate and all the rest of it. But the thing, what I'm saying is that Allah, Ahezaah says that the devil went against it, and it threw the devil in hell. Now, it threw the devil in spiritual hell to be incarcerated forever. And the only time the devil get a furlough is when it is allowed to come out into the realms of man, into the realms of man mind, and into the realm of man physical being as a part of man's makeup. Huh? So when people start denying the devil, they deny themselves. If you don't want to face the devil, people, you don't want to face yourself. You know? Because that's when we were said to be the microcosm of the macrocosm, when we were said to be like small universes, everything in the universe is in us. You look at the universe, you study the universe, then you can see yourself. You know? And you see all kinds of negatives and positives, balances and imbalances in the universe. You see things that's out of order, continuously out of order. But the order they're in is in being out of order. Like a comet flying through the sky. That's its order. You know? And you have all kinds of people You try to change your brother and you can't change your brother or sister. Say, what, man, I'm giving them all this and I can't. Because that's what they created to do. To be. It's like knocking your head up on wood with some people, you know, in some situations. I mean to, you know, like just go so far.
No,
man,
because well, many people, like I had a person talk to me the other day, and their first question to me was, where did you come about this information? Man being in mind. Where do you get that from? Because they want to know.
Okay.
And then once explained to them, and it's pointed to what's in their holy scripture. See, one of the great things that you were speaking about before, we spoke about in a previous show, how the scientists try to disprove A.H.A.D.
Right, that's all they do.
Trying to do it.
Many
but then all that they try to disprove has already been founded in the books from thousands of years ago that speaks about the very things that they just recently finding out, but it was always there.
Right.
They talked about for the pyramids, for example. Many people think the pyramids are only just tombs for the pharaohs. They just come to realize now that they recognize they're actually looking out into the universe.
Right.
The North Star is being that focal point. We're looking into the constellation.
Right.
When Ahezaah already said that I will give you the signs in the creation and in yourself to let you know I'm your Lord. I gave the sun, the moon, star as signs of the marking days and months and years. Now, I used to get that back to Muhammad over 1,500 years ago. But now they just come out with this thing of the calendar. Even before that, I used to give it to the Egyptians with the sundial, how they track time and all this information.
Yeah.
If they were in advance as you think that we are now, then how could they have come about this information or this knowledge that the Lord have given them unless it came from school? One of the greatest ones they look to or they speak about, they mention them as Hermes Trismegistus, 3 times great, Enoch, Tehudi, and the Egyptians. He'd go by many different names. He was giving this information the Lord had given you as a messenger in his time, or that they have now found out through whether psychology, astrology, that he's given him thousands of years ago in the time in the ancient Egypt. This information, this mystic information, what you're speaking about now.
Yeah, you know it's funny. They remind me, the Jinn reminds me of the devil that go out into the rainforest and destroy the people with their germs, right? Like they've done for almost 500, 600 years now. And then go back, their sons go back and say, well, let's try to discover how the Mayans died. How this whole race of people just disappeared. You know? They have been given this information, then they say, let's try to discover what's going on in the universe, what's going on in medicine, what's going on, when they get it all through the prophets of El, such as Enoch, Hermes Trismegistus. They got it all. They copying and when they go out searching, to find what's already been manifested. You know? They have cures for different diseases, but they don't want to give us those cures because they're about money. You know, you look at all the documentaries about the tsunamis and the hurricanes and windstorms and what have you, you know. What's the first thing they say? This cost us X amount of dollars.
Right, damage, right.
What about the human lives? The devil don't care nothing about human life. The Jinn don't care nothing about except his own offspring. They don't care. That's why they would mention the dollars and cents.
Sure, that's right.
And then after that, and the many lives we lost.
Like an afterthought. Yeah.
There you go.
But people hear these things and the human factor of humanity go to the people first, the lives that were lost. But like you said, they count, the Jinn is counting on the dollar bill.
Well, you talking about the negative people, you know. Holy Queen Mother was saying to me today, she can't see how. I mean, she said it's something how the negative people spend so much time devising negative and evil things. You know? And she said, I just can't see it. I said, and they can't see how positive people devise so many loving and positive things. The same as you can't see them, they can't see you. You know, we've had people come through this community. I mean, devils just like that. We've had some who have come and gone and some who have stayed and refused to kill their inclination towards Satan. Huh? They prefer Satan over hell. But for the things they do and for their apologies, they think they're all right. Huh? The Jinn don't even have an apology.
No.
They just outright do evil. And when people that is inclined to evil see them, instead of them basing themselves on the examples that Allah sent down as prophets, they base themselves on the people of evil and say, well, I'm not as bad as them, so I'm all right.
Yeah.
I kind of flipped the script right there. I know that. But it's just a thought that came up to my mind. Mm-hmm. You know, because the common people don't know how deep the Jinn is.
No.
The common people don't know how deep they are in the science of psychology.
Yeah.
You know, they've spent ages of time degenerating minds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you look at what they've done to the slaves from Africa and those whom they conquered of the Native Americans, from North America all the way down to the islands of South America.
Oh yeah.
You feel me? How many people look at themselves as one people as opposed to different races?
Yeah.
Because of the lines that divides them.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I was born in Mexico, you'd call me a Mexican.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What if my parents visited Mexico and I was born there and stayed there for what you call me a Mexican?
Mm-hmm.
But am I a Mexican? Does that make me a Mexican? No. But by man's standards, yeah.
Yeah.
But go ahead, what was you about to say?
No, I was echo what you're talking about. When Ahezaah says in the Quran, for example, "O children of Adam,"
Mm-hmm.
children of humanity,
Mm-hmm.
and you saying what you're saying now, how we have been back from that time, even up to this day, still divided in mind.
Yes.
We can't see. The blood flows through every one of us the same. Once we cut our skin, that egg hit that blood that flow blue turn red. Once the egg hit it, but man don't see that. The powers that be, I should say, because now they don't have a total count or lack of respect for human life when they destroy one people or one town or whatever, whether it's war, ravaging, disease, whatever the way they use the population to take them out.
Yeah.
All they see is casualties of war, body counts.
Yeah.
But who puts the toll? They don't see. They don't put a face to. That's why they can say terrorism.
Yeah.
They don't put a face to terror.
Right.
But they do put a name to it. See, that's the Muslims.
Yeah.
They put a name to it, though. That's that Islam.
And it's a shame.
And that's how they do it.
And it's a shame. And you know, and it's a shame that Muslims
Right.
allow them to be in a position to do that.
Yeah.
For disobeying Allah, for turning against the true way of Muhammad.
Right.
They out here dressing up and acting like clowns and doing all the stuff they do and then say that's the way of Muhammad. When Muhammad's mind was much deeper than theirs. They could not touch the skirt of Muhammad's dress with their brains. Yeah. You understand me? Yet they say they practicing the way of Muhammad. They don't know Allah. They have not been related in mind to Allah. They think that because they go and get on their prayer carpets, they're relating to Allah. When a lot of them know, they're thinking about, I got to go shopping too once I get finished praying. And that sister did me wrong. And, you know, got all these other things going on in their mind. Allah said in the Holy Quran, do not say that you believe because you are yet to understand belief.
Right.
You know? Allah says there are 3 types of people, those who believe,
right.
those who disbelieve, and those that are nearest to it. Muhammad was nearest to it. They're not nearest to it. So how could they be the way of Muhammad? If you talking about the way he walked, well, if you walk with a limp, I guess we're going to have the billion Muslims walking with limps. You know, that's where people, just like the Hindus and Buddha, sitting under the Bodhi tree, meditating, don't know what meditation is. You know, you got so many people just imitating the exterior forms and thinking that that's what it is. But Allah wants you to come to the inner forms. You feel where I'm coming from? And see, with this 9/11 thing, you know, think about this here. Somebody flew planes into those Twin Towers. 4,000 Jews took off from work that day. And it was no holiday.
No.
Somebody knew what was going on before it happened. I know somebody who got a phone call from Saudi Arabia telling somebody to get their sister out of their daughter out of New York. 8 o'clock that morning. You know? And it's like, what's going on? And then when the president was told, he's sitting down reading the book upside down. It's like, what's happening? And then they go to find Bin Laden and end up with Saddam Hussein.
Like he's the next best thing, right? We couldn't get
but scuffled to get Bin Laden's whole family out of here instead of keeping them.
That's right.
And they're doing something to see that he would come back.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna give up all my ace cards. Oh, just get them all out of here. I don't want to play the game of cards fair. Now I ain't got no good cards. Now let's play. What is that? You know, but the people still fall for the games, fall for the tricks. The people, the common people, the patriots. When them planes hit, what did they say? They didn't say, "Oh Lord Jesus, let us turn our other cheek and forgive them." They said, "We will never forget." What about your religion? They all need to die. Wait a minute. Who? Who all need to die? Who did it? Who was behind it being done? You feel me? And then these stories coming out of Iraq and out of Afghanistan about the different things that was troubles that was happening when they was trying to find Bin Laden, like the no lack of support and the turning them away, and when they almost had him, and also something is wrong. You understand? But the people look at that and say, well, I'm an American. You know?
Yes, sir. We're gonna hold that thought to our New York audience, man. I know you zoomed in on what I just give because it related to the city that the Big Apple that I just speaking about. But hold on, follow this conversation, our next program. We love you. Continue watching. May Jesus peace on the blessing about your presence.
Of you want to do things right, to keep up with keeping your lives tight, tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you